I predicted this recently, that the phenomenon of Abe Simpson saying, you know, when I was young, I was with it. Then they changed what it was, and now what it is scary to me, and it'll happen to you too. That's not going to happen to us.
Yeah.
And the reason is the millennial generation is probably going to be the biggest generation
drop off.
That's it. We're the top of the hill. And Gen Z may be a little bit bigger, so maybe it's Gen Z. But afterwards, it's going to get lower and smaller, and the population's already contracting. That's a fact. Outside of any pandemics, war, World War III, or otherwise, the future generations are smaller and smaller. So what's going to happen is Disney's shifting to nostalgia marketing for one simple reason. They're like, we got 30 million potential millennials to sell to, or 10 million kids. Sell to the older millennials. There's more of them. There's more money. If 10 million little kids brought $1, what are we going to get?
Right.
If the millennials come, they'll bring their kids, we'll get even more money, target the nostalgia. So that means they're going to keep trying to pander to the millennial, probably like a range of millennial to Gen X with mostly millennial in the middle. That's who they're going to be targeting.
I don't think people realize when you hit these TFR, total fertility rates, like 1.2, 1.3, I mean, the drop off is significant. And Japan is just going to be suffering, like, you know, population decline in the millions for the next few decades.
Already are. Same with China.
China as well.
Same with majority of Europe.
Yep. All of Eastern Europe, Western Europe. Yep.
Well, so we went to this haunted house thing. There was booze and there was food and there was rides, and it was a little older crowd. It was packed. We go to the theme park, mostly for kids. I mean, like, there was a zip line there that I sat on, and then I was hitting the ground because they're like, I'm a man, you know. But I was well under the weight limit, well under. And it was like a family thing, and so we went there, and it was mostly kids, but there was like 30 in the whole place.
Wow.
So I was like, yo, where is everybody? People don't have kids. Where are the kids? I don't know.
Did it cost money to get in?
Yep.
Maybe they were broke.
Well, you get a charge card to do anything in the park, and then spend money.
Like $30 to get in or something?
No. Like, you get a card, and if you want to do anything, you have to tap the card too. So if like you wanted to play mini golf, you tap it. If you want to go on a ride,
so it's free to get in, and then it's like pay per ride.
But you can't do anything unless you get a card.
It's just the signs of a dying society. And then you have the other side of it is that the millennials, these young adults, they're just becoming infantilized because they're not progressing to the next stage of their life, you know, with a family or even, you know, other things, a business, et cetera, economic reasons. But intentionally. I mean, look, it's great. You have a smaller population to control. It's a lot easier than a population growing that has to worry about its posterity. I mean, you got these leaders in Europe like Merkel, you know, she's not there anymore, but none of them had children. So what do they care? What do they care about the future of their nation state, whether it's Germany or France, whatever it is?
Kamala doesn't have any children as well.
Yeah. Does Justin Trudeau have any kids?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Probably cousins in Cuba.
So I wonder if it's these devices. This is what Dr. Phil was saying. Oh, yeah, he has 3 kids, apparently. Dr. Phil was like, it's the first generation of people raised on these devices.
Right.
From since 2007, it's this. And then you've got the fentanyl that the Chinese are putting into the Mexican cartels that are being shipped up to destroy our culture that way. I don't know if that's the intention, but that's what's happening.
It's like the opium wars.
And the food supply.
Did you guys see the viral video where it's like this TikTok young teenage girl, Gen Z girl, being like, my mom won't give up her CDs? And she's filming, and she's like, this is my family's CD collection, and my mom won't get rid of them. And then her mom is standing there, she goes, I am not getting rid of them. I got rid of my albums, then they came back. I want my CDs. And she goes, Mom, I can play any one of these songs faster on my phone. And she goes, no, it's because I don't remember these bands. She's like, I like Oingo Boingo. I wouldn't even remember that they were around unless I looked at the CD. Mm-hmm. But what's fascinating in that interaction is the young kid raised on the phone is like, but I can just play Go. And it's like, you are too young, I suppose, to understand. No, I'm sorry. Youth isn't the reason for it. You are lacking in context and information. Mm-hmm. There were people who gave up their vinyl collections thinking like vinyl's going out the window. Vinyl never died. Now all of a sudden they're worth tremendous amounts of money. Yep. You go to these resale shops, antique shops, and it's like the prices are going up and up and up. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this woman's like, I'm not giving up these CDs. There's going to be a nostalgia factor. People are going to want to pop those CDs in. But she makes another really good point. Yo, when I put on music on Pandora on Spotify, I don't even know half the bands that are playing. Yeah. I don't grab my phone and then type in music. So the
Like
young,
we don't know phone numbers anymore.
right, we don't know phone numbers anymore. But the main point is, the commentary I saw on this is, you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah.
This little kid is like, just rent the idea of music from the machine, mom. What's the problem? And the mom's like, I want my music that I own.
Tangible.
I like
That's right.
that you phrased it that it was really the problem was the ignorance of the kid. It was the ignorance of the human that was like, didn't realize the benefit of like, if they had a vinyl, because it's not Gen Z that's the problem. It's the ignorance. And a lot of times kids are ignorant just because they're kids and they don't have the world experience yet. Some kids actually aren't ignorant because they have fantastic parents.
And some old people are extremely ignorant, so it's not youth that's the issue.
But has any generation in human history gone through so much technological, societal, cultural change in such a short period of time? I mean, these are things that typically have happened over centuries, millennia. I mean, if you look at a regular Joe Schmo from 1820, is he that much different from 1720, 1620, 1520? I mean, yeah, there's things on the margins, but the change from, say, post-World War II to today is on a scale that we've never seen before, and I feel like it's almost evolutionary at this point, and I think it's leading to a lot of the psychological issues we're seeing, a lot of the mental health crisis. I mean, people can't cope with this change. They're just not, it's not ingrained in them.
Yeah, you would think that with access to the world's information, you'd be able to solve every problem and that every problem would be solved as a result. But just because we can, obviously, the test is shown, doesn't mean that we will.
Correct.
Yeah, I think this has been the most rapid advancement in the human consciousness ever. In the history of our species.
And it's all novel. We don't know, like, where we make fun of, the millennials, the Zoomers, whatever they are, but there's really nothing to look back on. There's no historical point of reference.
I hope what really happened is that like aliens showed up at Roswell, and then it was an accident, and they're like, crap. Meet with the government, and they're like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you rapid communications technology to bring your people up to speed. And they're like, all right. And now the aliens are sitting back laughing as if they gave chickens like ultra weapons, and they're just watching us be really dumb with it. They're like, they're gonna wipe themselves out with this data impropriety,
Right.
what they're doing. People don't understand the algorithmic manipulation. I don't know if it was Elon Musk that said this. I think it was. He said the current thing may actually be chosen by an algorithm. So there are people who are like on the trends on Twitter being like, I like mustard ice cream. And it's like a robot just decided to promote that one day. And now you're marching in lockstep with it.
The algorithm is the new Holy Spirit of our world.
Exactly.
It's just touching things in different ways. But what you were saying before about, how they're, people aren't processing, all these new innovations, et cetera. I mean, it's the same way of looking at it as, it's like you get a new toy, and it's just like, a new gadget, a new car, and you're just obsessed with it. You're just diving into it head first, and that just becomes part of you. That's your whole existence now. And I feel like we're seeing that on a generational scale. It's just this obsession, this tech focus. But everything that we've designed, whether it's all this access to knowledge, we're not becoming smarter, we're not solving problems. All this access to social networks, communication, we're becoming more and more disconnected, more atomized. It's all having this counter effect.
I think one of the issues that we're facing clearly is that there's just too many people, and we're not guiding reproduction wisely. So maybe the first thing we need to do is maybe like a great reset down to like 500 million people.
I don't know if that's the right marketing term.
Then we'll guide population reproduction. What did the Guidestones say, Luke? I tried to do. I could
800,000.
No. The Guidestone said guide reproduction wisely or something.
Oh my God.
So that's the idea.
Right.
The idea.
They know better. Everyone knows better except us.
Well, the algorithm is producing reproduction digitally. I like that you phrased that it's like the Holy Spirit. The algorithm is our current. Is that what you said? The
Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Because imagine if someone owned God and they were able to control it, and they knew what it was doing, but no one else knew what it was doing,
and make everyone think and see one particular thing when they want them to see it.
You guys don't
and
trust the
ban
science?
Particular ideas against that particular thing that they want you to believe.
Social engineering.
That's godlike power.
It'd be crazy. How they've been trying to do this augmented reality thing for a long time?
Right.
Like Google Glass was like a rudimentary version where you'd look up to the right and there's a little screen there.
Right.
Now they've got the Meta Pro Quest or
bombing.
whatever. And like the idea is they're like goggles, and you'll see the real world, but it'll augment it. Imagine in the future, they tell everybody, you can see through these glasses, you'll see everything like normal, and then you'll also see the augmented reality stuff. But the augmented reality stuff is very easily discernible from real life, right? The graphics aren't as good.
Until it's not.
And then one day, everybody sees the same thing across the sky, an explosion, and they don't realize it's actually a trick in the augmented reality. You see what I'm saying?
Or they don't want to take it off because they take the glasses off and everyone's fat, ugly, and miserable. So they put it back on. Everyone looks beautiful.
Well, what I'm saying is fake events happen where everyone thinks with my AR goggles, I choose what AR I see. So I'll load up my menu and I'll go like this. Okay, Facebook, and then Twitter, and then tweet, send. And then all of a sudden, kaboom, explosion in the sky. And they think it's reality, but it's actually augmented reality. But everyone sees the same thing, reports seeing it, and then everyone assumes it really happened when it didn't.
Fact, yeah.
Yeah, I've been noticing a trend on Twitter the last couple of weeks where at the top you get that For You big thing and it says video about fill in the blank was doctored, experts say. This recent video about White House correspondent was doctored. Video was doctored. Video was changed. So like this is like in the last 2 weeks, I've noticed this probably like 4 times or 5, maybe 4 times. That the age of deepfake is upon us. Whether or not that's going to be AR or just actual video that we watch on TV, we don't even know.
Or they'll accuse real things of being deep fakes.
So there was a story in the press that Ron DeSantis met with Clarence Thomas the day before the Dobbs decision came down, ending Roe v. Wade. The real story was that a year and a day before, the media runs this story without fact checking it. And now the guy who wrote it was a secondary source reporting. So emails get released by a nonprofit. Raw Story writes a story. Independent copies Raw Story. Independent then realize, oops, we got it wrong. Guy says, I'm so embarrassed to take it down. But think about this. The defamation of lying about somebody in an election is the cost of doing business for these people. If you can win a governorship for 4 years, is it not worth the $50 million defamation lawsuit? Hey, man, these races cost more than that. Right. So you can we're getting to the point where Fetterman's campaign's been just making things up. Imagine how dark it's going to get. When I was on Rogan's show, this was like a year ago, he asked me how I felt about deep fakes, and I said, I don't think it's going to get that crazy. I think it won't be no. And now I'm like, I was way wrong. They're going to make a deep fake, and it's going to be a grainy video of Ron DeSantis' supporters to make it look like it's a cell phone, so it's easily faked. And he's going to say something not ridiculous, just kind of bad.
Right.
The real effective stuff is not going to be Ron DeSantis coming out and screaming the N-word. It's going to be him saying something like, look, when it comes to COVID, there's only so much you can do. So yeah, are people going to die? A lot of people are going to die. I can't be bothered with it all the time. Something like that, where it's like believable.
And there's going to be a Wild West period as this tech rapidly develops that there's no legal precedent for the defamation, like you're saying. So how are they going to treat these deep fakes? What are the repercussions going to be? And it's going to be an insane period of time before the law catches up, if the law and the regulatory system ever catches up. It may never.
You can't. Yeah. These things are going to appear in court.
Yeah.
And then a video, not only that, a real video will appear in court. And someone will be like, I filmed this guy punching a dog. And he'll say, deep fake.
You won't believe it.
And then dude, it's this simple.
The grand deep fake defense.
Call a lawyer. You get your lawyer. Your lawyer finds an expert. And they said your lawyer calls 10 experts. Here's the video. Is it a deep fake? Nope, that's real. Okay. Expert number 2. Is it deep fake? No, it's real. Number 3. No. 4, 5. Finally, expert number 10. It looks like a deep fake to me. Excellent. You're hired. Would you like to appear at this trial? Then he shows up and says to the jury, I am a video expert. I've been working for 20 years. I watched the video. It does not seem genuine. Now this dude who actually committed a crime could maybe even get off just because the technology exists.
Right. So when we have experts in court, should we have to say how many experts were interviewed and then how many experts were chosen?
No.
Of the 12 experts, the one that we chose says this, the other 9 or 11 said this.
That's not how it works.
I think we need more transparency in our legal system, especially with software code and apparently with experts, end quote, if we're going to be putting people on the stand.
But Ian, what if, okay, how about another scenario? A crazy extremist makes a deep fake of you punching a dog. You get arrested. You go to an expert, and he goes, "You're Ian Crossland from Timcast. I don't want to be involved. It's real. It's real." And they go through 9 experts who all say the same thing, like, "Dude, I don't want to be targeted. It's a real video." And then finally, they get one guy who goes, "I don't care what show you're on, Ian. I watched the video. I did the analysis. It's fake." And then you go to trial and they say, but let's pull up the 9 other experts. And they all go, oh, it's a real video. Please don't burn my house down. It's a real video.
What's sad about all this is we could talk about, the theoretical implications of these deepfake technology, but, you have this media class that will publish defamatory hit pieces without even using deepfakes. They'll just claim you said something, you believe something, you are something, white supremacist, racist, Nazi, whatever, and they don't need a deepfake. They'll just print it, put in the headline, and that's what you are. You're branded, and there's no recourse, which goes back to, the state of our defamation laws, and it's only going to get worse with the deepfake. It's only going to get worse, but it's pretty bad right now, and we have no solution.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.